Hey up, how you doing? Right, we have got a bit of a technical video today with no beer in hand. It's a bit early for a beer. So I finished the brew day yesterday, and as always I put some cleaner into my machine, my all-in-one, and leave it running half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, something like that, round the pump, keep it going. So I put it on. My KLARSTEIN has a recirculation at the bottom and an arm pump. Recirculation pump at the top, goes in the top through the grains, and nothing. Now this is not unusual on this machine. Does me head in. I need some sort of filter in between the tap and the pump, because it gets, I mean, bits of hop, or it only needs a bit of grain to go through that hop basket, which it does, and it gets in that pump and you have to take the air off. I will show you the videos in a minute. So I was like, that's all right, I'll just take it off like I normally do and blow it out. And I, absolutely, as I was expecting, as I took the housing off, I could see some bits of hot matter, debris in there. So I cleared it out, put it back together, it still didn't work, and I went, ooh, uh-oh, is that pump had it? So we took the pump apart, and this here, look, the impeller, we're gonna look closely at this in a minute. It wasn't turning very well. It was really stiff and grindy. I'll put a video up. Make sure your volume's up, because you can hear the grinding. So yeah, that wasn't ideal. So I went on a Facebook group, YouTube official, and someone says, "I'll get a knife around it and scrape it and clean it overnight." I soaked it overnight in some VWP, really hot water. Well, and then I swished it about a bit and cleaned it, and then for a few hours I left it in that, and then I got some brew clean out with some citric acid in it and left it in that for a couple of hours in hot water again, because it was in a tub, and then gave it a whiz, and I thought, oh, is that my brain? Is it getting looser, or is it just because of the hot water? I was convinced this thing had warped. I was sure that had warped somewhere in there, and to me that looked like a seal unit. So I was like, oh no. Anyway, before I went to bed, I took that out and then put some more VWP in some really hot water and left it overnight. Out this morning, rinsed it off, and I went, that feels a bit freer, that does. I can't hear that grinding quite so much, but it still feels a bit tight. So I woke up to a message from Mick Martin going, "You probably got some crap behind it." I was like, yeah, I know, I've had it cleaned out. Oh, look at that. So, that is not a sealed unit. I was convinced, absolutely convinced. All that does is pulls out of there. So, we've had that soaking again, gave that a good brush out and a clean. Back of that's all been cleaned off, and in that hole I've got some nice little brushes you can get in there. That's all been cleaned off. That no grindy anymore, and popped it temporarily in, and I am so excited. I was convinced that was at it. I looked on AliExpress, I had some other people looking on AliExpress, and I could not find that part. That part. It's this bit. No, it isn't. I'll put a picture of the pump. A picture of the pump things. There's a reason I don't do technical videos. I'll put a picture of the pump sticker with all the details of it there. I am well stoked. I couldn't find one of these anywhere. Anyway, we're going to pop this back together, chuck some water in it, and see if we get a pump. You coming along? Come on then. There you go. Can you still hear that? I'll turn that off. Hang on a minute. Oh, I am so happy. I thought I was going to have to probably bypass the pump. If I could, I mean, you can find those pumps, but I mean, that little pump there, I think was something like 100 quid. And I could buy a decent food grade up to 120 degrees C separate pump, which I could mount on something and just bypass that, which could then be moved on to other things if I change my brewing kit. That's what I was going to do. I thought that's what I was going to have to do. Buy a separate pump. You know, like people who have 3 vessel systems. I was going to get one of them, but don't have to now. I shall be keeping a proper eye on that. So that system now can have a clean from yesterday. I'm going to run some cleaner through it. Although that pump's had a good clean, hasn't it? That pump has had a good clean. And we are back in business. I mean, I was going to brew anyway, and just recirculate it like I used to, with standing there with a jug. But oh dear, that'd have done me out. Once you've gone forward, you don't really want to go back, do you? But yes, I mean, as I say, normally I would just like, I couldn't tell it was. I thought it was a sealed unit. I didn't know it came up. That would have made everything so much simpler earlier on yesterday, because I could have given that a good scrub out, and yeah. Even if it had warped a bit, that little pin in the middle, I could have just given that a bit of a sand down, couldn't I? Just made it a bit. But I mean, that is working absolutely lovely now. I still need to find some sort of inline filter. So comment below if you know of one that can hold hot wort. It's easy enough to put in a pipe in it, but I don't know if I found one that can do, unless you buy a massive great big stainless steel thingy bazooka bouncer thing, which is hundreds and some quid. I don't know, but I mean, that's what I need. And a bit of a plan going forward to just make sure that's nice and clean. It's easy enough to take a bit. You saw me putting it back together. You didn't need to see me taking the bits, did you? I'd already done it. It'd been soaking up. So yeah, it goes back together. There's the magnetic bit goes in the housing, then the fin goes on in the housing with the seal, four screws, pipes on. We're back in business. I hope that helps somebody, because I was scratching my head, I'll tell you. Thanks for watching. See you soon.